Good afternoon, everybody. This is Otis,
And I'm Jerry.
and this is Two Guys Catching Up on Football. Oh, what a weekend!
Oh boy.
What a weekend! And you and I were texting. Oh, hang on one second. Um, I forgot. I needed
Don't
to
bring in a Bama shirt or something like that.
no. I needed to shut that door.
A
I
pennant or
won't. I
something
won't
like
have
that.
a. I won't have a kitty walking across in front of the camera.
I might in a bit, but yeah.
Yeah. But what a weekend! You and I were texting back and forth across this. Um, Friday, Washington looked good,
Yeah.
and it was like, well, they cannot leave them out. I mean,
No, yeah.
they looked too good to
They
be left
solidified
out.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, especially since Oregon was a 9-point favorite. So that didn't make any sense.
Not much, yeah.
But what may have happened was more money was being put on Oregon, and so they kept upping their because they probably started as a 1 or 2 point favorite,
Yeah.
and more money was being bet on them than there was on
Yeah.
Washington.
Right.
So in order to get the books balanced, they had to
Nope.
push Washington
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
You can't count
yeah,
out Bo Nix there, so yeah.
yeah. Grandpa's still there,
Yeah.
and he played well. He played well, but he's he's kind of along Justin Herbert. He's just good enough, but he's not gonna get you over that hump that you need to get to the
Yeah.
next level.
Yeah.
Because he's gonna do something. Justin Herbert has played well in the pros, but
Yes.
he played well in college, except he never was able to get them over that
I
hump that
just
they needed to get to the next level. And
I,
he's doing the same thing in the pros now too.
yeah,
They
I
don't.
don't even know if that's you and I who talked about it. I just saw that somebody was saying Herbert, great quarterback, but can he get over the hump right now? No.
No. He sometime or another in a crucial game, he's gonna give it to the other team, or he's gonna miss a relatively easy throw that would get them another first down.
Yeah.
And Bo's he's kind of that way too. There was a reason Auburn replaced him as quarterback. So so there was, and there was a reason that he couldn't beat out Herbert when he got there.
Yeah.
So um,
I can't have for the rest of at least this year. Whenever I hear the word Auburn, all I can do is shake my head.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So it,
they
it,
could have straightened this all out, and they had it, and they blew it. But
yeah, they could have made this much easier, much
yes,
easier. But I don't think I don't think the committee made it easy on themselves. They do have that one little provisional in their guidelines that if a coach or a significant player is injured, that that they kind of reserve the right to reevaluate that team. But what I don't think they took into account is, let's say the game was played this weekend, then I agree with them because that freshman, he didn't even know he was going to play until right before the game.
right.
He didn't have any idea. And Mike Norville is a very good coach.
Yeah,
They're not playing until the end of the month. Are you trying to tell me, with a month to prepare,
yeah,
and that defense, as good as that defense is,
yeah.
that they could not have um, done more with
Well,
their offense to make it better?
I thought that
I don't believe that.
I thought that the one quarterback, I don't know the name,
Oh,
but I thought he was only out because he was in concussion protocol.
right, Rotifer. Right,
Well, he would have
Rotifer.
been fine. I thought he
Yeah,
only missed the game because of the concussion protocol.
I think partially they were looking for a reason to
Oh,
get
just make it
Alabama
loose.
in there, and in
I,
order to get Alabama in there, they got to get Texas in there because they had put Texas in front of Alabama all year
they should have.
after Texas beat Alabama. And even when Texas lost to, my goodness, Oklahoma, they still kept Texas in front of Alabama
Yeah,
because
head to
Texas
head.
beat Alabama.
Yep.
And that was all the way back in week two.
Yeah.
Alabama was not the same team they were in week
Hey,
two. So,
week two, week nine, it's just as important.
yeah, and the Alabama quarterback was much better by the time they hit week four or
Yeah.
and week five. So in 2 weeks, he was much better. So are you trying to? There is no way you can tell me that as good a coach as Mike Norville is, that he would not have had the offense ready to play, and the defense was already good.
Yeah.
So,
That's true.
uh, but they were trying to figure out how to get Alabama in because
Of course. Yeah.
and yeah, it was just. I
Who
mean,
knows?
Alabama was a conference champion, and so that didn't bother me that much. Texas was a conference champion. That didn't bother me that much, but they both had one loss compared
Yeah.
to Florida State.
First time.
Yeah,
First time one of the major conferences undefeated and they didn't get in.
yeah. Now someone did point out, and I guess it's their fault, but when they were talking about expanding to 12 teams this year, um, Florida State's president or athletic director said, no, no way. And it was set up to begin with to fail because you had four spots and five major conferences. So
Yeah, good
it
point.
was going to fail.
Yeah.
If every conference champion was undefeated, someone was going to
Yeah,
get
somebody's
left
going to
out.
get locked out. Yeah.
Someone was going to get locked out. So it
Yeah.
was guaranteed to fail
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
So why they didn't have six, have
I,
have the top two teams get a bye, the other four play it in a quarter, and it wouldn't be necessarily a final, but still, uh,
I,
but
I, yeah.
they could have alleviated all of that because the fifth and they might not have had to go to 12 because the fifth and sixth place teams would be good enough to win a national championship. I don't think the 12th best team is going to cause anybody any sleepless nights.
I didn't get the SEC. Well, Saban, of course, we knew he would lobby, and he said it's disrespectful
Oh,
if there's
sure.
no SEC team in. The SEC commissioner came out and was saying things. This is a horrendous mistake if there's no SEC team in. Bama gets in, Georgia doesn't. Did you hear anything about the SC commissioner saying, "Oh, but Georgia did that"? Nothing. Crickets.
No, no.
All about
It-
Bama. It was all about Bama.
yeah, it was
So,
just the one team they wanted to get in
yeah,
and everything. And again, they did win the title. So
yeah.
they
Well, now
they're
they play Michigan first, correct? Yes, I think.
right. Right. And did you see that I guess they showed Harbaugh's reaction when he found out he was playing Alabama and not Florida State? He was not happy with that. And I bet the college football committee
They
didn't
probably.
care because he shouldn't have been there anyway. When you cheat like that, you
True.
shouldn't get you
Yeah.
shouldn't get rewarded for it. So
I I don't know. I don't know. My early guess on that game, Michigan's defense is very good.
yeah, but I think Alabama's going to be
Yeah,
in.
I don't think Michigan's offense is at that level. So
No,
Yeah.
They are
So
not.
that's your difference. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not good enough to put pressure on Alabama's defense
Yeah.
to give them, a, and like I texted you, the top four teams, the order didn't really matter because they all have to play. I would have had Michigan, Alabama, Texas, or Texas and Alabama, and Washington, so that the Big Ten and Pac-12 could play in the Rose Bowl one last time,
Yeah. True.
and then you would have had the what's the word I'm trying to think of? Rematch. Then
Oh,
you would have had the rematch from the second game of the season between Texas and
yeah. You could
Alabama
settle
at a
that.
neutral site.
Yeah.
That would have made for some really good television that weekend.
Yeah.
That would have made for some really good stuff.
I'm
And
already
I wish
leaning
they had
toward.
did it.
I
Huh?
already am leaning towards. I didn't know the games in Houston. I saw that yesterday. It made me immediately think it's going to be Bama and Texas and Houston for the.
Which now they got a rematch in the championship game.
That's fine. Yeah.
And if they do, Alabama will win. Nick Saban usually wins those.
Yeah.
I just heard on the telecast he'd only lost one SEC championship, and I think that was to Florida back when Tim Tebow was the quarterback,
Wow.
and that's the only one that he's lost since he's been there. And so he
That's
was
going back in time. Yeah.
I mean he was going to be Alabama was going to win that one yesterday.
Yeah.
Georgia kind of got away with having that quarterback who really wasn't that good of a quarterback.
Yeah. I agree.
They kind of got away with it.
That did make me. I saw some people saying, "Oh, Georgia should have got into both Alabama and Georgia should have got in," and I thought, no, no, Georgia shouldn't go in. They don't have a
No,
quarterback. Yeah.
no, they don't. If you're going to
Yeah.
keep Florida State out because of the state of their
Yeah.
quarterback, you got to keep Georgia out because he
What's
really
this?
is not that
It's
good.
Ewers on Texas. Pretty good. Yeah. And
Yeah,
Penix is good
yeah,
too. So
yeah. But now he's another one who isn't all that dependable because I mean, look what he did against Oklahoma. And he's not that dependable either. But, these are 19, 20, 21 years old. In the case of Grandpa Bo, every once in a while you get the 26 or 27-year-old with grandchildren that make it in. So I saw I saw today Gabriel Dillon went into the transfer portal. Now he played 2 years at Central Florida,
hmm
and I think one of those years they were undefeated, and through the whole season, including the bowl.
right.
And then he got hurt, um, and then he was 2 years at Oklahoma. So unless my math is messing me up, 2 years plus 2 years is 4 years, and his eligibility should be up,
Yeah.
but he might have an extra year because he missed 1 year for injury.
Oh, I was going to guess COVID. Maybe he's got
Yeah,
some
and,
sort
and
of an
maybe
infection.
and maybe COVID also. So he
Yeah.
might have 2 years to,
Right.
but they gotta, they got. I told you, when I'm watching Georgia and Alabama, um, I forget the tight end's name, the one that they say is going to be a high draft pick next year.
Oh, it's got to be Brock Bowers. I love
Yeah,
Brock
yeah,
Bowers.
Brock Bowers. Thank you. Um, he had his helmet off. The guy had no hair on the top of his head. I mean, I don't have any hair, but I'm 66. I'm not
You know,
playing college. I'm not playing college football. Come on. You guys have
well,
got
I
to.
don't know. I almost texted you. I did not, but you might if you watched the Florida State Louisville game. The Louisville quarterback almost had looked like Magnum PI out there because he's got a big mustache, looked like Tom Selleck out there. Another guy where it's like, how old is this guy? This
how,
ain't no
how
kid. Yeah.
come on, there has to be an age limit as
Yeah.
opposed to an eligibility limit. There has to be an age limit. They can't let these guys play until they're 30 years old.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, They can't let these guys play until their kids are almost in high school. You just can't do it. That, that's way too much. But they had they had a thing on, and I meant to bring it up, but I forgot. Um, if they had had the 12-team playoff this year, who was going to play who?
Hmm.
And University of Liberty, or Liberty University, however
Uh-huh.
they call themselves,
Yeah.
they would have made it in because they were the highest ranked party of, is it party of, group of five? Party of Five was a television show.
Huh.
Group of five. They were the highest ranked group of five, so they would have gotten the 12th spot.
Wow.
But the rest of it would have been filled up
Yeah.
with SEC, Pac-12, Big Ten,
Yep.
Big 12. All of those teams would have gotten in, and then the current four teams would have been the ones that would have gotten the bye. And they're also kind of also showing you that the bowl system is just antiquated and it's just not needed anymore.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
And some of these schools, the smaller schools, they lose money getting invited to a bowl game
Right.
because for these bowls they have to guarantee that their allotment of tickets are sold, even if they have to pay for them themselves.
Hmm. I
So,
didn't know that. Yeah.
and transportation and hotel
Oh,
room,
sure.
and
Yeah.
they get a goodie bag, but the goodie bag ain't worth
Right.
$300,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way
Then,
that's the only way they'll break even. So I don't know if it'll go to it or not, but it may expand. I mean, the football playoffs may expand, just like the NCAA basketball tournament did, because
yeah.
when UCLA was winning all those titles,
Oh,
there was
right.
only 12 teams in the tournament,
Yeah. 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 I did. Yeah.
or 12 or 16.
I think
Maybe
it
it
was
was 16.
16.
16. There were only.
Granted, those were pretty good teams. They probably would have
Oh
beaten
yeah,
anybody. Yeah.
yeah. They were the best. They were the
Yeah.
best in the nation, but
But you are right. It was a smaller field. Yeah.
it was a much smaller field, and
Yeah.
and and now with all the players they have, so football could go that way. In which case, maybe you have more upsets. Again, these are college kids. You never know what you're going to get from them on any given Saturday or Sunday.
True. Right.
And so, and maybe if they expand it more, it might be, there might be more upsets involved, which then the Alabamas and stuff were like, well, in the old days, we wouldn't have had to play against these teams.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah.
because in the old days, the playoffs were handpicked and they didn't really care what happened during the
Yeah.
regular season. As long as you didn't have two losses. And one year, Alabama had two losses and still thought they should have been in.
Oh
Still
yeah.
thought
Of
they were
course.
better
Yeah.
than anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Saban's never going to be satisfied unless his team's in there. And then
Yeah.
he's fine. He's good with it. So I hope it's good. I hope the playoffs are good. I hope both of the
Ooh,
semifinal games are like
right.
3-point games, or
Yeah. Can't.
or somebody wins it in the last second
Yeah.
from 40 yards. Fourth and goal from the 40.
Yeah. Just don't no, don't give us another Georgia and TCU game like that. Oh my goodness, the championship game last year. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that was
that
bad.
that. However, TCU did beat Michigan, and they
True.
they They handled Michigan
They
pretty
earned it.
easily.
Yeah.
They were good. They just weren't Georgia good.
Yeah.
So that was they hung in with them for 3 or 4 minutes, and then it was game over. Um, so talking about game over. All right, we'll talk about them. Uh, when I saw what the 49ers did on their first two possessions, I went back to the uh, Shanahan has never won a game when he was head coach of the 49ers, and they were more than 8 points down. So as Philadelphia's driving when they're up 3-0, I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Oh, I know.
This,
Yeah.
this game is over. But then they held them to a field goal, and I think I kind of flipped back and I saw the 49ers had scored to make it 7-6. And I was like, oh, okay. But I'm not getting emotionally invested in the 49ers. So it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna ride that roller coaster through the game. And then I flip back later on and um, uh, McCaffrey just scored and it was 14-6. That's when I texted you the Eagles have them right where they're wanted. They're down by double digits going into halftime. And they had won the last four games because I think they were down to, I forgot who the last four games, one of the games was Dallas. And I think they were down to Dallas at
They were
halftime.
down. Didn't they play Buffalo as well?
Buffalo, they were down
Yeah.
to Buffalo,
And
Dallas,
Kansas City. Yeah.
and Kansas City. And I
Yeah.
forgot who the other one was.
I
But then
just,
they,
I, if the 49ers can stay healthy, they should win the whole thing. They really should.
if
It's all to me
Shanahan can
about being healthy. Yeah.
if Shanahan can stay out of his own way,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
because them getting six touchdowns in a row yesterday, I don't think Shanahan's teams have ever done that. Usually, once they get up a little bit, they kind of gear it back. But maybe on some sort of self reflection, he's realized that he's played it conservative once they've had a lead because he kind of feels that his defense is good enough to hold it.
Yeah.
And maybe he's kind of, through some sort of self reflection, has realized, you know what? We need to crush him. We need to crush him now. And when the game is
They
over,
did.
I can gear it back then.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I only think there's one issue moving forward. I think the Niners window is about another 2 years. Here's why. If they win the title this year, or once Purdy gets MVP, people are talking about it, he's going to want a lot of money.
He will have deserved it.
Yeah, but it's going to really it's going to be a big cap hit, big
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
they will lose. Well, Trent Williams is getting old, but there are players that will be lost because they just can't pay it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have they have a luxury of paying their starting quarterback less than $1 million.
yeah.
What
Yeah.
other team can say that? None. So
And I want to say because he was the last pick in the draft, his contract was only for 3 years. And there's something within the
well,
collective bargaining agreement that
really.
every year he gets a bump in pay
So
without having to.
his rookie deal is not a 4 year contract.
I don't think so.
I think
I
most rookies are 4 years. I
Um,
believe.
uh, second round, second round
Oh,
players are 4 years. They don't get the fifth year. First round gets the fifth year. Second round, and it may be second, third, and fourth get 4 years. But that's three and plus the extra. When you get down into the sixth, fifth, sixth, and seventh rounds, um, theirs is much
right,
less. So them finding and because they accidentally fell into him. They didn't know what they had, and they wouldn't have known if Trey Lance and Garoppolo don't get hurt. They wouldn't have known, and that's why I said
That's true too. Yeah.
Shanahan's not a genius. This guy was on his squad, and he didn't have any idea what he had. If
Yeah,
the
but
other two,
I give them a lot of credit because they had all of the controversy with Lance and with Jimmy G. They made the first decision, Jimmy G, you're out of here. And then Lance, you're out of here. They made the right call.
oh sure, they
Yeah.
did,
They,
but
they,
but it was staring them in the face. They couldn't have done anything else. I mean, yeah, there was there was no genius in this. They couldn't have done anything else but got rid of the other two guys. That was all they
I
could do.
guess.
You know.
I mean, I don't know. I do. There's a part of me that believes. I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and they said that they thought that Purdy. They said the guy's going to be as good as Montana. I can't argue against that right now. I mean, he doesn't. Let's wait, but see what happens. But he looks pretty damn good to me.
Oh, he does,
Yeah,
and he's very fluid,
yeah.
very smooth. Not the strongest arm, but strong enough to throw the ball
And he's
30,
very
30 40
cool and
yards
calm.
downfield and
If
accurate.
he definitely has the Montana. What was the Super Bowl? There's John Candy in the stands
Right.
story where he did. That to me is Purdy. He doesn't
Yeah.
feel any pressure.
He's cool.
Yeah,
He's very much cool. And if he wins most valuable player, I, I got a feeling that the 49ers are not going to be able to pay him less than $1 million next year. I got a
that's a
feeling.
good question. I don't know if he can hold out. I don't know how that works. I don't. I
I
don't know.
I
Yeah.
bet he wouldn't have to hold out. I bet that they would redo his contract, add 3 more years on, and pay him what he's worth. Even if they don't win the Super Bowl, if he wins MVP and the Super Bowl, they have to. I mean,
Yeah,
they have
but
to.
that's where to me it's gonna where it'll get sticky. Probably starting next year because you might lose Ayuk. Chase Young, we don't know if he'll be back because of the money. You know, they're going to have to, and we both know too, teams know how to restructure and play with the salary cap, but they're
Yeah.
going to have to play with some things. If they win the Super Bowl, even or he's MVP, I think they're going to have to play with money to make stuff work out. But
Oh
then
yeah.
again, the goal is to win the Super Bowl, right? And they say the Rams, when they won, what was it, 2, 3 years ago?
Hmm.
They went all in. They spent
Oh yeah.
all the money
Yeah.
and did everything they could to win, and they did do it. So that
Yeah.
is the goal. So
Yeah.
can't blame
And
them.
I mean the Rams are much better than I thought they would be. I thought they would be the worst team in the league,
Uh-huh.
but they're much better. And so the Niners are going to have to. Well, I'm sure. At
Well,
least I
yeah.
pray
I,
that
I, I,
they're already thinking about this and have their.
oh, they are. I'm sure that it's already. Lynch has probably got his accountants doing things already, to, just in
Yeah,
case.
probably.
Yeah.
I would
You
guess
know, how
that
do we
they
keep
have.
everybody? And in fact, what did I just saw? They were even talking about Zach Ertz today. Of maybe the Niners can figure out a way to get Zach Ertz on there this year for another backup to Kittle. I don't
Eh,
know. You know,
okay, there's such a thing as too many weapons
no,
because
I
you can't
agree. Yeah,
you can't shoot them all at the same time. I
but the
mean,
only time that they struggled this year, or if you can even use the word struggle, was right when Debo was out, Trent Williams was out. It was only when they were injured.
right?
When they're healthy, teams don't
Yeah,
have a chance. Yeah,
yeah. Now I could
against
see
them,
them.
they're
They
loaded.
could possibly pick up Ertz, and then if something happens to Kittle, they have another All
Yeah,
Pro tight end to come in, and maybe
yeah.
they should. Well, they probably think that they can get by if Debo gets hurt. Juwan Jennings is not bad.
Yeah.
and Ayuk has really come along
Yeah.
to. He's good enough
And
to
we
be a number one.
yeah.
So he's really come along pretty
Yeah.
good.
And we do
So
know already Lynch will draft a defensive end next year anyway. So
uh, it'll
probably
probably be from Oregon.
well,
They they love they love
Lynch loves his D line guys.
he
Yeah.
does, and he loves Oregon players. I don't know why. Um, and they just
Yeah.
but any but anyway. So, buddy, well, thanks a lot. It's been great talking to you. We're
Good to
gonna
catch up. Yeah.
we're gonna have our traveling music. We had mostly college football this time, but they were the most interesting things that went
Oh
on
man,
this
yeah.
weekend.
Well, there's not much to talk about when it's. I don't even know what the final score was. 3-0 Chargers and Patriots or something.
It was 6-0.
Six
I
nothing.
was trying to go by
Yeah,
without
that's not.
mentioning that. I was trying to get by without mentioning that or mentioning Atlanta and the Jets.
Yeah,
The
that's.
Jets. Okay, I'm going to mention this about the Jets. The Jets have more first quarter safeties than they have first quarter touchdowns.
That's insane. Yeah.
I like Robert Saleh, but man, I feel so sorry
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
It looks like there was no bright spot on the horizon. Nothing.
No.
He might as well just take a shot, offer Dallas something for Trey Lance,
Yeah.
at least give him a chance. Because Dallas isn't going to use him this year.
No, they never won't. They won't.
And
Or
so
what's his backup? Cooper.
Cooper Rush.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
and
could
Cooper
have did
Rush.
that as well. I don't know what they were doing with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't either.
You
So
know, and they'll have Rogers back next year, so we'll see.
maybe we'll see.
I
So
don't expect.
anyway,
Yeah.
it's time for a little traveling music, my friend. Let's fire it up. Thank everybody for watching again. This is Otis and Jerry, two guys catching up on football. Later!